This piece of track has been down for 3.5 years, and as I always say to people, test a piece of track before you finally screw it down and ballast it. What's going to happen is you're going to see several different types of locomotives go in and out this siding. Adams radial, which is always a little bit fussy where it goes. You can see it runs absolutely fine. Here we have Oliver Cromwell. Here we have a skirted mallard. Here we have a 9 Fox, all big wheeled locomotives, and you can see they're going through without a problem. Here's a Castle class. So you can see I've tested a variety of steam locomotives over this point. Now, if you watch this, you will see, and I've tested several different types of steam locomotive on this track. Now, I keep saying to people, when you've laid track, test every type of locomotive you have. Now, you may buy a locomotive and suddenly find the track is no good. You can't help that. But when you lay track, test every locomotive and you can see. Now this track's 3.5 years old and there's obviously a problem with it. But you saw that every other type of locomotive I ran on this was fine. I'm going to show you what's wrong with this track. I've obviously had a look at it before, and how to fix it. I'm going to do this by hand. It's not going to be as steady, but look, you can see what is wrong with that track. That is as much as 3 or 4 mil. In real scale terms, that's about a foot out, and it's twisting the locomotive. Now you can see this is track that I laid a long time ago because it's got tacks in it. Now, has it moved over 3.5 years, or did I just bash it down with the tacks and not level it? I suggest a combination of both. Anyway, I will show you how to fix it in real time. Thank you. This track, unfortunately, I think I just laid it unevenly, because the whole track is leading to the right, and that's the trouble with tacks. You just bang them in and that's what you get. I think it's been like it all along, because normally with track you get it where it's buckled in places but not in others. But the fact that the whole track all the way along the line, if I can zoom in, all the way along the line, the bubble is out. Now it's touch and go. Do I lift the whole track and relay it, or do I put washers on it? I'm going to remove all the tacks anyway and use screws, because I can adjust the height. Tacks, Jesus Christ. Anyway, another issue with this is when we first started modelling, we were recommended to use enamel oil stain on the track. We were newbies, you know, 3.5 years ago, out of modelling since we were children, we were newbies. Do not use enamel, because it takes forever for the water to soak through and for the track to move. Do not use enamel, always use acrylic. Anyway, let's get going. Thank you. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is with a pipette is dampen this track, and I think I'll pull the buffer off. And this is going to take a while because, as I said, we've used enamel paint and it's awful, absolutely awful. But when you're new and you're listening to social media and all these experts, it's like I had an expert say to me that the new EE tube train was out of scale because the wheels had the same back-to-backs as HO. Well, 00 uses HO track, so it will be out of scale. Genuine 00 track is a couple of mil wider. Anyway, I've got to let this soak in. Now I'm going to show you the way you pull tacks. You don't dig a screwdriver underneath because you're going to buckle your track. You do not use a small claw hammer. You do not attack them with a small screwdriver hacking away underneath, because all you're going to do is bend your track. The way you remove tacks is like this. You have a decent set of pincer pliers and you find your tack. Nice pair of pliers. I haven't got a pair of glasses where I can see what I'm looking at. There we go. Push down, pull up. Let's move along. There's got to be another one here somewhere. Push down, pull up. But you've got to have a good quality set of pliers for this, pincer pliers. And that's it. And there's another one here. Push down, pull up. And I will not be using those again. Now you can see the water is still sitting on top of the track. There is a screw at the end here, so we'd obviously, I've added a piece of track to make it longer, to make the siding slightly longer. Where we widen the bend here, I increased the length of the track. Now what I will do is we'll get a small screwdriver, the widest small one we have, and I'll gently prise up the track just to see if it's moved. We may still, there's a larger one than that, can I have the larger one please? We may still just pull the lot up and relay it. But look, you can see this is still solid. Now you do not force track. Do you want to boil the kettle and have some more water please? You do not force track up that is still solidly down, because you're going to buckle it. And this is rock solid. Even look. And that is the stupidity of taking social media advice. But when you knew, you do. If this had been acrylic paint, I'd have had this track up and it would have been sorted by now. So doing this in real time, you are seeing the endeavours of listening to social media experts. I'm paying the price, make sure you do not. Always use acrylic paints. Now this water is piping hot. If you use a pipette, which I recommend, do not use a hypodermic syringe. The water comes out too quickly, you cannot control it. It will go everywhere. Saying that, it's going everywhere here. Where it's, what it's doing is it's going, you can see here, the water in the track. It's just starting to move now. But you be gentle with it, you do not cane it. And you can see this is still pretty much rock solid. Gonna go over the other side. I've had to stop the video running because where it is, it's in my way. But it's getting the track. No, it's starting to lift now. You can see. But it is still, some more hot water please. It is still tight. Now you've seen me do this before, sorry my arm's in the way there. You've seen me do this before. I'm going to walk round. I'm trying to do this in real time as much as I can. So I'm walking around, I've got to walk around the board because there's not enough room for me to walk past the camera. Now, when we've had to lift the whole of track like this, the track has come off the sleepers. I'm just checking here for any more. Oh, I've got another tack. That's another problem with tacks. With the screws, when you paint them black, they're difficult to see. Tacks are even worse. Okay, what I'm going to try and do, can I have a couple of small washers, 1 mil. I'm going to have a go with washers and see if I can just do it with washers. I don't really want to lift the whole track because it means reballasting the whole lot. Fire one under there and see what it does. Now what I might be able to get away with here is just doing the entrance to the point. Well, that's level now with 1 washer. That's no. Now you can see there, I mean that is abysmal. And I will zoom in. I mean look at that. That is awful. I'll fire a washer in round there because the washers you can fire in and hide them. That's too much of a problem. Will it go under there? Yes it will. And the danger is avoiding collateral damage. Let's have a look at this now. Put it in a bit more, and the more you fire it in, the more it lifts it. I mean this is miles out. Absolutely miles. Now I'm able to hide these under the ballast, so, or even under the cork, so I'm not going to see them. And it's not a piece of track that is run that often. However, we do like our model railway to be correct. When getting that under there where you can see the that is a lot better. Now let's see if the loco will run down it. Now I've levelled it. Strange. No power. Dear. Now for some reason I don't have power on the track, so let's have a look. Another power tester. As I say, this is real time. I don't know why. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the loco out the way. I don't want to damage it by having it suddenly fly around. Change the point, wind the power up and see what's going on. Let's go in there. Now that's unbelievable. Now this is a learning curve, this is for you. I'm just going to zoom the camera in and lift it up. I'm going to zoom it in a bit more. Now you can see there that the track is perfectly connected. You can see it is. Here, can I have the I don't know where it's gone. But you can see here the track is perfectly connected. Can you make sure I'm filming on this? Just have a look. I don't want to cut it unless I have to. Am I filming on this? You can see here it's perfectly connected. The fish plates are up tight. Now I'll put the power to it and look at that. That's perfect, so it's not the point. Move it back, look, nothing. Take it across the fish plates, everything. Now I'll show you how you sort this out. Do you want to boil the kettle again please and give me some more hot water? I'll show you how you sort this out. And this is interesting because you can have track that looks absolutely perfect, nothing wrong with it, and you get that. I'm just going to cut this off because you don't want to hear the kettle boil. I'm going to show you what you do here to solve this problem. And you saw there was nothing wrong with the power earlier. You put piping hot water on the fish plates. You then get a pair of good quality pinch pliers and you grab hold of the fish plates and you move them. Because what I think it is enamel paint, curse of. Let's try it now. There you go. And that's where I just move the fish plates backwards and forwards and we have power again, and we'll just check the point. Well, I know the point's fine, but you can see there we now have full power lit up. And you've seen this in real time except for the kettle boiling, so there's no tricks here. It gives you an idea of how long it's going to take you to do this, and you nearly saw me in real time fly the Duchess off the track. Not quite so clever. Okay, let's try this now, this piece of track. Still not right. So, let's have a look. It's better than it was. But it's still not right. So what you do now is, oh, that's okay. I'm just wondering if that bend is just too tight for this locomotive. And I'm doing a fool's errand here. fine because it's been twisted round onto a bend. Right, what it's doing, it's not stopping back there. When we were doing it before, it was stopping about there where it was the track, but we sorted the track out, and what it's doing is it's the point that it's jerking on. Okay, so what we'll get now is a ruler. Long ruler, please. So we've solved one problem. We're going to just have a look and see how the track runs here. Jesus wept and then he died. God almighty. Okay, what I'm going to do is move the camera to another angle and I'll show you what's going on here. Right, after further investigation, we've seen the point is out as well, and you can see the bubble. The point is out too. Bloody miles out. The track behind it's fine, but the point is miles out. Jesus Lord. Miles out. So we get another tack out. Never to be used again. Now with points, the important thing is you've got to make sure that your water is well and truly soaked in. If you bend a piece of track, it's not expensive. It's not going to kill you to replace it. But with points, it can be an expensive exercise. Now also what I'm beginning to think is where the loco's having to twist its body to go, it's going around one way, then the bogey's being twisted another. It could just be the way the track is that is not being helpful. Which I suspect it could be because of the size of the locomotive. However, when you can see some of the track is out, because as I say to people, the computer will tell you where you can fit track. This was all done on the computer program. But what the computer program will not tell you is what will run on that track. And I keep saying to people who post these computer program track designs that it doesn't mean that a loco will run on it. Now what I'm also thinking about doing here is lifting this and putting a streamline pointing. Lifting these two pieces of track and putting a streamline pointing, because I know that will work. Sorry if I sound a little bit, but you know, it annoys me that people sell these programs. Oh, it's easy to program, you know, if you don't know what you do. Well, yeah, sure. We'll find out. No, this is miles out. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick, that's softer, that's better. Stick one under there. And we'll see if this solves the problem. Now, if I would have laid this again, I would do it with streamline points all day long. all day long, streamline points, because the locos run a lot smoother and larger locos will tackle them a lot better. Push this under. Can't even, let's have a look, that's better. Okay, let's try it now. We'll see. Well, that is a lot better. But the problem is what's happening is the front bogie is being twisted round. It will not go round this track. Well, actually, it is a lot better. You saw before I could only drive it out by hammering it out. And now we've straightened the point. It will go out at a reasonable speed. And we'll do it again. I haven't got to thrash it out. Normal speed that most people would run it at. It's fine. But the fundamental issue is, and I will zoom in on it in a minute. Now this, you can see, that's not too bad. And I'll zoom back just to show you. Wind it right out. And you can see that goes out at a, it has improved an awful lot just by the track being level. I think that's pretty much solved it, hasn't it? Mm. It's not derailing, and I'm not having to thrash it out. That's a lot better. But what you will not be able to do with this piece of track is run it out, is crawl it out. Well, it's a lot better than it was. But what I will do is I will now show you the problem with this piece of track. And as I say, it was designed by it was done on a computer program, and I say to people all the time, those computer programs will only tell you what will fit into a space. That is all they will tell you, and you can see these sidings look absolutely gorgeous. Though I say so myself. Now what I will do is, to finish off, I will zoom in and I will show you what the problem is. Now what you have is you've got a long chassis locomotive and it's turning in that direction and that direction. And the S is too tight for it, really. It's too tight, it doesn't derail. Yes, you could see the points and the track were miles out. But that is the problem, and maybe you can just see now the whole chassis is twisting. Now, what really would be better is a streamlined point, and what we'll do is I'm going to cut the video and I'll put one over the top just to show you the difference. Now what we've done here is we put a streamlined point over the top, so you can see with this point here it's radius 2, it's tight, it's flexing the chassis of the locomotive, and it's radius 2 and it's tight. Actually that's not too bad now. Now If I put a streamline point over the top, which if I'd have had the knowledge that I've got now, can you see how much easier the bend is here? On the point, you can see it's so much easier. And I could have put a piece of track in here, put it to there. I'm not going to, because the Duchess class locomotive does not very often run, well, not at all out of that siding, not at all. So the effort and hassle to do it is just not worth it. I don't think so, do you?
No.
I mean, that's not too bad. I'm not having to kill it to go out of the siding. It's not a bad speed. And you can see how lovely all this looks. All computer programmed. But the important thing is that you've got to learn from this, in my view, is test all different types of locomotive on track. Use screws so you can adjust the track, use a spirit level, and where you can, use streamline points. Thank you for watching.
And not enamel paint.
Thank you very much, Susan. And do not use enamel paint. If you're going to put an oil stain on your track, use acrylic. Now, I don't think you need to watch me put screws into the track. Thank you for watching, and I hope this has been informative. Thank you. Now, for putting the screws in, I've got an electric screwdriver, and you can adjust the torque on it. You can adjust the torque on it. You put it in, and you just do it gently, but you don't bend the sleeper. Have we got another screw, please? Now, if you're not confident with an electric screwdriver, I think that has another one here, then you can use a hand one to put the screws in. But this is far better than bashing away with a hammer, and it's a lot faster. And now what I can do is I can paint those black and you won't even notice them. Thank you.